Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm George Grace Jr. Welcome to Wednesday evening with your Peoria Municipal Band. And just think, a few weeks back, it was cold and rainy. Not so today, but we'll get through it. Our new vocalist for this week, is Miss Karen Stewart. She has some fine numbers lined up for you, a concert that I'm sure that you all will enjoy. So please welcome Karen Stewart and Dr. David Vroman.
Please stand if you are able and join me in singing the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
Well, good evening. Nice breeze. Be thankful for the breeze tonight, and thanks for coming out and not staying at home watching television this evening. We're glad you could join us. Just as a reminder, most of you probably already know this out there by the tracks, but if you hear this particular sound, we do ask that you just stand up and stand back by the cars. You don't even have to move your lawn chair. It's fine. They're more concerned about people than lawn chairs, okay? So we'd appreciate your help with that. Well, yesterday was Flag Day. How many people put your flag out? How many people put your flag out? Good for you. Way to go. And so today's theme, was yesterday was Flag Day. And we kind of missed it, but there's lots of good music that goes with it. We're going to start with that, with a piece that's called Spirit of 76. And it was done by Claire Grunman. Claire Grunman was a very intelligent musician. He had a real passion for music, and he composed for ensembles including symphony orchestras, Broadway groups, ballet, radio, television, and of course, bands like this, concert bands and things. He started back in the 1940s and conducted and composed all the way up until about 1996 when he passed away. But anybody that's played in a band has probably played something that he wrote. He loved creating things for school ensembles. This particular work was written for a very famous band, the Richard Franco Goldman Band, and it features music from the time of George Washington. How many people remember George Washington? Were you there when he was the president? Okay, good. Jim does. Good. And this includes Washington's March at Trenton, Yankee Doodle, Nora Dear Nora, and Girls and Boys. This is Claire Grunman's The Spirit of 76. How many of you have been to Times Square? Times Square, been there? You know what statue is in Times Square, one of the statues that's there? Actually 3 feet taller than he really was. George M. Cohan statue is there. Todd, you should have gotten that. You should have. Yep, see, you were wrong again, Todd. 3 feet taller. Anyway, he starred, directed, produced over 100 Broadway shows, wrote music for 50 of them, and was on stage for many years. You know, his birth certificate says that he was born on July the 3rd, but, by the way, in 1878, in Rhode Island, but his parents maintained that he was actually born on the 4th of July, which would make him a Yankee Doodle boy of that song. He was also awarded during his lifetime a Congressional Medal of Honor by Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1940 for his efforts to boost World War I morale with patriotic songs like the one we're about to play. And then just 2 years later, in 1942, he passed away. This is one of his most famous songs. It's entitled, well, we know it now as You're a Grand Old Flag, but true story, and you can look it up if you go to the Library of Congress. You can see that in 1906, when he wrote this and when they recorded it, it was called You're a Grand Old Rag, not Flag. Then, when he got patriotic, he was looking for things he could change, and he changed it, and of course, we would only know that today as Flag. So, George M. Cohan's Your Grand Old Flag. Well, we're delighted to have welcomed Karen Stewart back to the Peoria area. She actually grew up here in Peoria, and she's a Peoria native, relocated back after living in Chicago as well as New York City for a number of years and performing. She went to Woodruff High School when she was here. How many people went to Woodruff High School? A few. And then she went to Millikan University. Let's see the Millikan University hands. Just checking. And then she went to Northwestern University. Hands for Northwestern University. Good. She also then studied overseas in Austria, and she's performed opera, oratorio, chamber music, all sorts of things with regional orchestras and choral groups, really all throughout the United States. She appeared at Carnegie Hall. She was in a European debut touring Spain with the American Festival Orchestra. And so she's just glad to be back and being able to see friends and everything. So from Spain all the way to Water Street in Peoria, Illinois, please welcome Karen Stewart. Karen?
Thank you. And as Dr. Vroman said, I am a Peoria native, and I grew up coming to these municipal band concerts. So I'm very delighted to be part of this wonderful Peoria tradition. The first two pieces I'm going to sing for you are Broadway classics. The first being Till There Was You from The Music Man, written by Meredith Willson. The Music Man opened on Broadway in 1957, and this song is sung by the character Marion Peru. She's the local librarian and piano teacher, and despite her best efforts, she has succumbed to the charms of ne'er-do-well traveling salesman Harold Hill. And in this song, she tells him how her life has changed and that she loves him. Till There Was You. The next piece is the song So in Love from the Broadway musical Kiss Me Kate. Kiss Me Kate was partially based upon the famous, or maybe infamous, warring between married actors Lunt and Fontaine during their battle royales on and off the stage during their own production of Taming of the Shrew in 1935. This song is sung by the character Lily Vanessy, and she is now a big Hollywood star. But she's come back to New York to star in a production of Taming of the Shrew with her ex-husband, Fred Graham. Fred sends flowers to her dressing room, and they just happen to be the same flowers that were in her wedding bouquet when they were married. And she looks at the flowers, and she reminisces, and she realizes that she still loves him. So in Love from Kiss Me, Kate. Strange, dear, but true, dear, when I'm close to you, dear, the stars fill the sky, so in love with you am I. Even without you, my arms fold about you. You know, darling, why so in love with you am I. In love with the night mysterious, the night when you first were there. In love with my joy delirious, when I knew that you could care. So taunt me and hurt me, deceive me, desert me. I'm yours till I die. So in love, so in love, so in love, my love, with you am I. In love with the night mysterious, the night when you first were there. In love with my joy delirious, when I knew that you could care. So taunt me and hurt me, deceive me, desert me. I'm yours till I die. So in love, so in love, so in love, my love, with you am I.
Anybody here tonight from out of state? You don't count. You count. Wait, let me guess. You're also from Peoria. Peoria, Arizona. Kreskin moment right there. Give them a welcome, would you please? They drove a long way. This next work is by kind of a friend of the band's because his father-in-law played in the band Owen West for many years. John Wasson was born back in 1956 up in St. Paul, Minnesota, where it's a lot cooler today. He thought he wanted to play the oboe, okay? But then he ended up starting on the clarinet. Then he switched to trumpet, and finally he ended up on trombone. So now you know how we get trombone players, okay? Did you hear that, how that worked? Went to the University of Wisconsin at La Crosse, transferred to the University of North Texas, played there for a while, took a year off, toured with the Stan Kenton Orchestra, came back to the University of Texas, played in the 1 O'Clock Band, did all sorts of things. And at that time, there was a new group called the Dallas Brass that was just getting started, and so John started writing for them. He also was the staff arrangers for the Dallas Cowboys Stadium Band. They had a group that played at all the games, and he formed his own production company with his wife, Gail, who used to play in this band, as a matter of fact, on clarinet. And from there, the rest is history. He's written a lot of great things. He can arrange for any type of ensemble, and it's just brilliant. This is his concert march, which he called Washington Monument. Washington Monument Concert March by John Wasson. Back in 1976. Well, actually, I should credit this because this is something that was written by a gentleman named Adam Gopnik. He writes for a magazine. It says, back in 1976, the incomparable drama critic Kenneth Tynan wondered in his diary when someone was going to take a deep breath and declare at that sometime in the 30s, this serious music tradition finally withered, curled up, and died of sterility and malnutrition, and that the greatest composers of the 20th century are Berlin, Rogers, Porter, Kern, Gershwin, etc. This view was just bold enough to only fit in a diary, but it became commonplace. And in the mid-1970s, you had to haunt London record shops to even find anything by Ella Fitzgerald, Gershwin, or Cole Porter. Now, all those recordings, as of in 2020, you can find those all over, and maybe prompted by the book that was written by Alec Wilder, American Popular Song. Some singers refer to things as the American Songbook. Cole Porter, who wrote the next set of songs you're about to hear, was born back in 1891 over in Peru, Indiana. How many have been to Peru? Okay. And he was born into a very wealthy, well-to-do family. His mom was the daughter of a very wealthy businessman. He graduated from high school, went to Yale University, and composed music there for various clubs. After Yale, he went to Harvard Law School just to please his grandfather, but he secretly changed his major to music, and we're not sure that Mom ever told the grandfather. And the rest, as they say, is history, because he left us with a great number of songs. This is a wonderful arrangement of Broadway tunes that Cole Porter left us with, all arranged by Warren Barker, just entitled Cole Porter on Broadway. We have two manuscripts of this next march, which was written by some guy named John Philip Sousa. And one said, "This is the March of the American Cavalry," and the other was dedicated to the officers and the men of the 311th Cavalry. And today, it may seem a little amusing to some that there's a scroll of appreciation that designated Sousa as an honorary life member of the officers' mess of the 311th Cavalry. But in Army terminology of the day, that meant he was an honorary life member of the regiment, their highest honor that they could give. Saber and Spurs, the March of the American Cavalry by John Philip Sousa. Well, as I said earlier, we are fortunate to have Karen Stewart with us in this area for a long time, but singing for the first time with us tonight. So please welcome her back to the microphone. Karen Stewart.
Thank you. So now we're going to do some Italian things. The first piece being the aria Si mi chiamano Mimi from the opera La Bohème by Puccini. This aria is sung by the character Mimi. She is a poor young woman who lives in a barely heated small apartment in Paris. And she meets her neighbor, Rodolfo, who is a poor poet. And he tells her his story, and then she tells him hers. And in her story, she explains that she is a seamstress, but that her hobby is making artificial flowers. That being said, the thing that she holds most dear is her view from her tiny apartment, because she can see the rooftops of Paris. And I couldn't help but thinking as I got here that this kind of actually reminds me of what she might have been thinking about or looking at. And she explains that the reason that this is so dear to her is because after the very cold winters in her tiny, cold apartment, the first rays of sunshine in April, they're hers. So this is Si mi chiamano Mimi from La Bohème. Si mi chiamano Mimi, ma il mio nome Lucia. La storia mia è breve, a te la visitare, calmo in casa e fuori. Son tranquilla e lieta, ed il mio svago fargi rose. Mi piacciono quelle cose che anzi dolce malia, che parlano So staying with our Italian theme, but coming back to the United States, the next song is the Italian street song from the operetta Naughty Marietta. This song does nothing to advance the plot. It's really just a showpiece. But since its beginnings in New York City in 1910, I believe, it's become a staple of the soprano concert repertoire. So the Italian street song by Victor Herbert.
Sweet Napoli, and I seem to hear again the dreams of revelry, her sweet revelry. The mandolina's playing sweet, the pleasant fall of dancing feet. Oh, could I return, oh, joy complete. Napoli, Napoli, Napoli. Sing, sing, zing, 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 boom, boom, eh. Sing, sing, zing, 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 mandolina's gay. Sing, sing, zing, 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 boom, boom, eh. Ah, ah, la, 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 sing, boom, eh. La, 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 sing, boom, eh.
It's that time. Here he comes. You drop something. He'll get it on the way back. Please welcome Mr. Lee Wenger, one of our Peoria Municipal Band commissioners, who dressed up tonight.
New items on the menu tonight, just tell you really quickly. There's popcorn back there, popcorn with or without butter. Also Bob's Ice Cream, direct from Eureka. They are back there tonight. Just ask for them. Second thing, want to celebrate an anniversary tonight. If any of you went to Manual High School and sang in the choir in recent years, you know you had Mary Rouse. Tonight is Mary Rouse and her husband's 37th wedding anniversary right there. But wait, there's more. 37 years ago today, tonight, someone was singing at their wedding, and she's sitting right over there. Karen Stewart. Karen, welcome back. And happy anniversary, Mary, and your husband, whose name I don't know. Mr. Rouse. All right. We have a pair of gift certificates to Avanti's tonight. Remember, when you came in the gate back there, you signed up, you put your names on a piece of paper in here. That's how it works here on Wednesday nights and at the park on Sunday nights. Please remember to do that. You can't win if you don't play. No salesman will call. Let's find out who the lucky winner is tonight. And I turn behind me. Oh, there's our wonderful flautist. John. Thank you very much. Wonderful flautist. The winner tonight, and please let us know where you are, and I'll bring you your certificates, Susie Pappenhaus. Susie, back there. I'll be right back. We'll play again on Sunday. Please join us, and thanks for coming out tonight.
This next piece was premiered in May of 2005. And with all the things that happen in the world, oftentimes we turn to music as a way of making things better, of being able to cope, especially with loss of loved ones. In this particular case, it was written for the high school band in Copley, Ohio. And during a period of time, about 6 months, they lost 3 band members. 2 of them were current, 1 had just left and was in college. And so they commissioned this piece from James Swearingen in their memory, and it has remained as a staple for things that concert bands often play. And it's really a very beautiful piece. But you will hear the soloists that represent each of those students. And this is what Jim Swearingen titled, "And the Angels Called." Well, we are super grateful for your attendance this evening, and we'll remind you, even though many of you know, unless you're from Peoria, Arizona, we'll be at Glen Oak Park on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, the Glen Oak Park Amphitheater 7. And, of course, next Wednesday we'll be right back here at 7. So, you get another chance to hear Karen. And oftentimes people will say, you play the same program Wednesday and Sunday, don't you? Some of it is the same, much of it is different. So there is a reason to come out. Plus, just like you already know, I'm preaching to the choir, I know, getting out of the house and doing something. So help us spread the word, and hopefully the weather will cooperate with us, and you can join us on Sunday evening. Several people we want to thank. We want to thank, all the folks down here at Kelleher's. Give them a big round of applause for all the setup that they do and the equipment they move. We want to thank our sound guy who didn't know the answer to the question earlier, Mr. Todd Pelon. He's right there. He had the wrong George, remember? And then, of course, we want to thank our soloist, Karen Stewart. So give Karen another big round of applause. And there's a lot of folks behind the scenes that make this go. Mark Gaskin is our stand-in band librarian this week. And Jason Shea is way in the back. He's our stand-in conductor if I wasn't here tonight. And then George Graves Jr. is our band manager. Liz Driscoll does publicity for us. And then Frank does everything else. Facebook, Twitter, you name it. He does all those things. And, of course, the other musicians that every week put up with me on Monday night. We rehearse one night a week and then do these two concerts. And we're blessed in Peoria to have a lot of great musicians. And so we appreciate you coming out and spending time with us this evening. Well, we'll close this evening, as we always do, giving you a few moments to reflect on what a great country it is in which we live. This is America the Beautiful.